how they might face up in tournaments where you've got to have some shorter turnarounds sometimes in
Okay.
tournament play. So it's all like they're actually thinking about it. You know, we talked about the bringing in the knights and all that.
Yeah.
They're really planning this out and thinking about how can we make sure they're playing at a high intensity but not draining them too much by playing these games close together at this stage where they're not fully match prepared and stuff. I think it's really
It just doesn't seem like rugby league, does it?
no, it's very progressive stuff from Richards and his sort of setup there in the women's
Yeah.
game. So interesting to see how that all pans out. But well done to Lancashire on winning the first of those games. And I think I heard that Vicky Molyneux of Wigan was one of the standouts.
Of course she was.
Yes. Okay, we're now going to make our guesses on round 7 of Super League and whichever round I forget it is of the Challenge Cup. Okay, guesses time, or predictions as we used to call it. Super League round 7 is an abbreviated at this stage round, Sarah, because we've got some Super League sides entering the Challenge Cup. We'll talk about round 5 of the Challenge Cup later. Before that, we will make our predictions for the 4 games in round 7 that we'll see this weekend. And the first one is on Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. kickoff. Sky Sports over in your neck of the woods. It's Hull FC versus Warrington. So I'll give you first dibs on your team.
I've gone by Hull by the usual Mark Sneyd drop goal.
This is becoming quite systematic by you, really, isn't it?
Literally every Super Brew, I either go for us by 1 or us by 7.
So you think it's going to be a close game, I take from that?
Yeah, we might play well for 40 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes. You never know. Sometimes we can, stretch to that. And then we'll let Warrington back in the game, but their fans aren't very impressed with how they're playing. Some of their fans I've even seen, suggesting it'll be who can lose best, who can manage to lose. And, let's face it, Mark Sneyd hasn't seen any drop goals to worry about over there, has he?
No. I think he can get one of his 5 attempts before they crack on with one of their 5 attempts. He could probably get
4 of his 5 attempts before they get one of their 5 attempts.
Exactly, yeah, totally.
And he was playing the match with his mobile phone in the dugout because his wife was imminently giving birth.
Has she given birth yet, or could we be on the clock?
She gave birth on Saturday night, just after he was at a club function.
All right, excellent. Well, congratulations to the Snides on the new arrival.
Yep, Phoenix
Snide. There you go.
Phoenix Sneyd sounds a little bit better. To go with older brother Maximus.
Wow, they've got some different books, haven't they, to what we've got for baby?
Yeah.
I'm going to go close game as well. I'm going to go FC by 2, and I think Mark Sneyd's boot will be crucial in it, and I'm sure he'll celebrate the winning kick with a baby rocking celebration then. But the reason why I'm going low score is I think Warrington focused last week on the defence, and I think they're still in that phase. I don't think they're ready to launch a fantastic attacking performance yet. I think they're still getting that attitude and that defence right, and away from home they've been really poor in that regard, so they really need to sharpen up. But Hull also need to start taking a look at their defence, because you're conceding too many points. The reason why you're letting teams back into games is because your defence is falling off after half time. So I think that's going to be a focus for both teams still this week. So I think low scoring, you've got the better kicker, so you'll win that low scoring game.
Okay. Yep.
Friday night, 7:45 p.m. Also the Sky game, the sole Friday night Super League game. It's Salford hosting Wigan. So it's second against third from last year. I think Wigan got a rusty performance out of the way last week. Obviously, they're going to be missing a couple of forwards, but one thing Adrian Lam has talked about this year is we've filled our squad with middle forwards, because that's an area of the squad that you definitely need to have cover and rotation. So Joe Bullock will come back in, and then back into contention as well will be Tony Claubb, and Mitch Clark, who scored a try in the reserves at the weekend. So there's cover there for those positions, and I think Wigan will be able to win away against the Salford side that aren't performing super strongly. Wigan won't take this side lightly, even though they're not performing very well. Wigan by 10 for me.
Yeah, well, do you know, it's interesting. My initial thing was Wigan by 10. And then I thought, I think that they're better than that. I think that Salford are worse than that. So I've actually gone Wigan by 18.
Yeah, actually, I didn't count into that all the missed goals from the 1 or 2 tries that Salford will get against Wigan's mean defence. In fact, teams only really score tries against Wigan when we turn the ball over in the middle of the pitch. Otherwise, on our line, we're pretty strong. But yeah, I didn't count all those missed kicks into it. You're right. So maybe Wigan by 18 is sensible.
Yep.
So Saturday, 5 o'clock, the game that might be played behind closed doors. It's looking like French authorities have banned gatherings of more than 1,000 people. So worry for Leeds fans who've already arranged travel. Keep your check on the social media feeds for the club for the
It's
league.
being announced tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously people keep an eye on those things. But I think the game will still go ahead regardless for Catalans versus Leeds. 5 o'clock UK time, 6 o'clock south of France time. What do you think about this one? Who do you think is going to win?
I have gone for Leeds by 4.
Now, this one was one of the number of difficult ones to pick in the small number of games we had to pick this week, because at first I was thinking Catalan are very strong at the moment. They're playing very well. They've got a powerful forward pack, and Leeds struggled against a powerful forward pack in round 1. Then I remembered Tompkins is suspended, and he's been so crucial to them. Maybe not been the driving force of their performances up the pitch, but once they've got up the pitch, he's been crucial to unlocking defences, and so without him I think there's a question mark there, and that's why I've flipped it and gone for Leeds like you have, and I've gone for Leeds by 8.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, 3:30pm, Castleford host St Helens, and this is a real coin flip. Castleford are strong at home, but Saints surely don't lose 2 in a row. What do you think?
Well, it'd be 3 in a row, wouldn't it, really? Oh, no, they had a week.
They had a week off against Toronto, didn't they?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've gone for Saints, but only by 6. Because as you said, Castleford are going to want to bounce back after a disappointing result, all in all. Danny Richardson presumably is going to want to perform against Saints as well, but I think Saints will have too much for them.
Yeah, I think Cass are so good at home usually, but on that small pitch, Thompson and Walmsley will only need 3 carries to get you.
Yeah, and they'll be over the line.
Get you almost in attacking position. So
yeah.
So I think that's strength that Saints will have should get them into attacking position enough, and maybe they'll do a little bit better than they did against Huddersfield. They'll have plenty of videotape to watch to see where they didn't quite execute to try and get it right for this week. I'm going to go Saints by 4. I wouldn't be shocked at all if this was Cast by 4, or it was a hard one to pick, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So Challenge Cup, we picked out a number of games of the week, and they all involve the Super League clubs, and all interesting narratives really. Toronto versus Huddersfield, but at Huddersfield. That's on Wednesday, 7:45pm on the R League app. I don't think Toronto are going to have anyone back, and I think actually people like Wilkin now are actually going to get their operations sorted out. So I'm struggling to see a way that Huddersfield don't win this, even though they've had a slightly shorter turnaround. I think they're in a stronger position than Toronto clearly right now. So Huddersfield to win at home for me.
Yeah, and I think as well, okay, they've had a slightly shorter turnaround, but they're on the back of beating St Helens.
Yeah.
So, it's not like they've come off a loss and they're having to regroup. Really, you're just going with a let's do it again, lads, sort of
exactly, yeah.
team talk, aren't you? Yeah, you might not get a proper training session out on the pitch, but do you need it after you've gone through an attritional match like that?
Whereas Toronto need to figure out how to change the whole pattern of play that they're getting wrong at the moment. Yeah. Unfortunately for those guys. Do you know what? I'd like Toronto to win this one. I'd like them to. I like this idea of the lottery of who gets the secret home tie that was drawn us an away tie, and I just think it's better press probably than Huddersfield going further. But I think Huddersfield will win. Wakefield play Bradford. I feel like this is a grudge game after that first £1 million game that from those years ago where Bradford nearly made it back in, but just by a ball's width wide of the post didn't make it over Wakefield. Friday 7:45 p.m. Do you think the Super League side will be too good here?
Yeah, I think Wakefield are doing pretty well, and I think Bradford are just too far off.
Yeah, it's the scoring ability Wakefield have got that just gives them the edge over Bradford. Sorry, for me in this one, and I think they'll end up pulling off probably a 20-point win or so, just through the fact that they can score tries.
Yeah.
Hull KR versus Lee, also on Friday night, 7:45 p.m. This one is intriguing, isn't it? Because Hull KR, lots of injuries, not being able to pick their best side by a long shot, versus a Lee side who are going quite well in the Championship. They'll be without no, I don't know if they will because of the way suspensions work in the Championship actually, but they might be without some players who got sent off. Jared Samet, I think, got sent off last week. But intriguing game, this one. What do you think? I've
gone for Lee. There's quite a lot of bad blood between the two teams. There's a bit of a history of like the wrong team winning in cup matches over recent years. So like when Lee were in Super League, I think Rovers beat them, and vice versa, didn't they? Going back 4 or 5 years.
There is sort of a weird balance, isn't there? Like between the two sides, like you sort of say, and it's kind of like when Lee starts signing better players but they're in the Championship, they're going to have the positive momentum, whereas Hull KR probably have got a work in progress squad. And they're missing a lot of the best players, so they're on a bit of a down note. I suppose I've gone Lee as well, but I think if the likes of Kenny Dowell and Braley really do show off their attacking flair, Lee might struggle to contain, particularly Kenny Dowell and Minikin on that right-hand side for Hull KR. But otherwise, I think Lee will be the match for him.
I mean, to be fair, I've gone Lee because they're playing Rovers and it's just amusing.
I think it's a really interesting matchup. I really do. And
when it was drawn, it was one of those that you thought, yeah, actually, I could see this going either way.
Definitely. I am really surprised it's not televised.
Yeah.
So, also NRL's back. So all the British players that might be on display for the Raiders versus the Titans, you might be seeing no John Bateman, unfortunately, but could see Williams' debut. We've got Hodgson and Whitehead and potentially Sutton as well in that Raiders side. And then for the Titans, hopefully it's Justin Holbrook's first game, and hopefully he'll be picking Callum Watkins. Then that's Friday at 7 a.m. Then straight after that, Friday 9:05 p.m. You never know, outside chance of young Herbie Farnworth getting a game for the Broncos away at the Cowboys, but probably won't see him playing that one. Rabbitohs versus the Sharks. There's still a Burgess at the Rabbitohs, so that's Saturday at 6:30 a.m. to see Tom play there. Panthers versus the Roosters in some weird bizarro world that Ryan Hall gets on the pitch before potentially leaving the Roosters. It sounds like he might be Sharks bound. Saturday 8:35 a.m. though, if you want to see if he gets a gig there. And then Dragons versus West Tigers. Old stager James Graham still going strong in the NRL. Sunday 7:15 a.m. I'm not sure if he's fit or not. I don't know, but I haven't checked the squads at this stage. But yeah, potentially you got him to watch there. Please do get in touch with us on the Google form for all your fan views. Look out for the links on Twitter. If you can't find the links, go to superleaguepod.com, and on our latest blog post there'll be a link in there for you to give us your match reviews. We love all reviews on all games of Rugby League that you might see.
Yep.
Right, time to wrap up the show and a quiz from Sarah.
Yes, indeed. Right, so this week's quiz, it was the Women's Challenge Cup draw yesterday, and the only match I saw drawn out was Hull against Rovers, which will be the first time these two teams have played in a derby as the women's cups. As the women's teams.
Wow, that's exciting, isn't it? I haven't I knew the draw was taking place actually, but I didn't really track it. because it's been hard to follow some of the women's Challenge Cup stuff so far.